Hey everybody, Kim here with Little Biz Resources, and today we're going to load up our files and create some products. Whether you made it in Photoshop or GIMP, those files, they're going to be the same, and we're going to load them up here. Now this is Printful. I'm inside the dashboard, so I've already created my account and logged in. If you haven't created your account, there's a link in the description, and then you need to connect your store if you haven't done that, which would be, if you go here to Stores, you can see that I have two. I have Shopify and Etsy, and since my Etsy one's not active right now, I'm going to go ahead and go to the Shopify one. And if you want to add Shopify, just follow the instructions. You have to link it all up. It's not that big of a deal. You just add the app through Shopify. So now we're going to add a product. Now, if you remember from or if you haven't watched it, we have prior videos where we talked about how to get ideas for a product, how to create the product, whether it's in GIMP or Photoshop. And we're doing specifically repeating ones for this phase because we're doing automation. And then we automated the file creation with Power Automate Desktop, and now we're loading up the files into the store. And there is a link in the description to the page that has then a link to the form that'll have all the different sizes on that. So let me go ahead and show you the form, or well, it'll link to the Sheets page here, and it'll show you the different file sizes. We've created all of these. And then we go ahead and now we're going to load them up. So if you're like, hey, I really don't want to do the beanbag, you could always remove that. But for me, I'm just going to go through and do them all because I can. And that will be like 70 some odd products. So let's go here. I'm just going to do a couple of them. I want to show you one that I would keep and one that I wouldn't keep. And this is going to be guessing because I haven't looked through all the files yet. So we're going to come in here and say add a product. And now this is just like if you remember the printful.com before logging in, you just select the product, okay? And this is where it's really easy because you've got it, you have your dimensions and you already know which files, and so you can just go through that sheet and go, okay, well, the first one I have is flip-flops as an example. And then of course we've made our labels separately. If you haven't done that, you should do your labels so you can do your branding. But let's go ahead and look at, we'll do a kids, we'll do sorry, I'm looking for youth. So kids and youth, and we will do leggings, and we're going to do some youth leggings. And for this one, this is actually, you can even look if you wanted to here. It's a 40 by 40 inch. So you can go to print file templates. There's a 40 by 40, right? So if you're like, hey, I'd rather just select a few and do it, but I already have the files, there you go. Right. And then I would not recommend automating with this file. We've talked about that in the automation. So in here, because I'm going to be doing a dark design, I'm going to say black, and I'm going to, it says choose file, so I'm going to say choose file. Now there's some files already in here, but I'm going to actually, let's move that down. That's not then. I'm going to come in and I have my final files from Photoshop for Printful. Right now I did them for Photoshop for this particular case. So let's go down to 40 by 40 in here. And there's my 40 by 40. That's the one I want to do. And we're going to load that up. Now that's already in there. So on the designs that have multiple products, once it's in here, and this is exactly why we did this. You can't see the whole design, and you may want to choose once you've done this to rename it because you can't see it, right? So we're going to place that. You can always trash it and reload it, right? And now I can see, I want to double check and make sure that first of all, the design looks good. It looks good to me. And it looks like this is, it's printing, it's going to be printing okay. Now this is the safe area to print, so if you don't have a repeating design, you need to keep that in mind, that you would want to have that there. So here I want to make sure also that this is completely filled in, right? Sometimes you may pick the wrong file and it'll cut off parts and you go, oh, it's probably just not fully, no, it's not. You need to make sure it looks like this, right? And so then they have this new print area background thing here, but I'm going to say none because it's just my design. Okay, so if you had like if you didn't have that black background, you could come in here and you could pick different colors for it instead, right? So you could just do the repeat and then pick like whatever color you want. And they have a ton of different colors in here, so that's pretty cool. And then it looks like you can do graphics. They have graphics that are put in here, and then they have premium images that you can purchase. So that's kind of different and new. And if that's something you want to play with, well, you're welcome to do that. So now we've pretty much got our design done. So I'm going to go ahead and say proceed to media. And then here you get to choose your mockup if you want to start off with like flat mockups, because this one I went into the girls. It's funny because this is youth, but they only have these for the girls. So let's do a flat mock-up because this could be boys or girls. And then we can add in additional mock-up styles as well, right? So they only have the girls here in this case, so we'll just do the girls. And then we're going to leave it at JPEG because that's going to be the mock-up images only. I don't really care about, I don't want the PNG because it will bog down the site. You could do PNG and test it out, but I'm going to have a lot of products, so I'm not going to do that. And then there's product videos. It says you can also include a production footage video in your product listing. Please make sure your Shopify theme store can display product videos. Let's just go ahead and add it and see what happens. Right, they have one here. That's already in it, so we can say preview if we wanted to. And it looks like we have to play it. So this just shows how it fits. So you could do that and you can leave that in there so people could see it. Right, so we're going to go ahead and close this. And then we're going to continue. Let me go to proceed to details. And then here's where you can put in your description language, English for me, obviously, and then your product title. Now I would leave youth leggings there, but in this case we have a rainbow skull on black. I wonder if it's going to stay that way. We'll find out. So then you could put stuff in the description if you want to, but you can always come back in later and add it as well. This isn't like it's a indefinite forever thing, right? This is just going to be kind of get you started, something to get on there. And really, for the most part, like if you're on Etsy, people don't look at the description. So I'm glad that this is here, but you might want to add in other things like, you know, like maybe put in towards the end if you have this is a custom order product, or maybe not custom order, but this is a made to order product. No refunds. Please ask all questions prior to purchase. This product does not qualify for refunds or exchanges unless the error is part of the manufacturing process, right? Because that would be technically our issue, even if it's manufacturing. And Printful's been pretty good about correcting issues when it's them. Then we're going to attach the size guide, and here in the US we use imperial. If you're outside the US, you probably want to use metric. And then this is the preview, and then you can do tags in here, right? So we did rainbow. Wow. So this would be, and you may not want to do your tags if you're on Etsy. You may not want to do them here. You may want to do them in Etsy just to make sure that they are matching up. But, you know, do your keyword research and make sure that they're in there. We're going to do black youth leggings, leggings for kids, leggings for, I guess, youth. I don't know a lot of people that search for youth. And again, that would be something you want to do some keyword research. So this is published product. This product will be visible in your online store. Now this is probably not the same as if it was on Etsy. You may see a little bit different here because I don't think you can publish it visible on Etsy. It just goes to draft. So if you want to do that instead, it would go in, it should go in as a draft, but for the most part, I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. And then you can put a collection. Now my collection's set up for all my EP Laser products, so I need to actually add a new collection in order to add this. You can do that inside Shopify as well. So I'm not going to display my product with free shipping, even though I pretty much have free shipping in my entire shop, but my shop's not open yet, so I'm okay. So I'm going to say proceed to pricing. Now here is the retail price, is basically what they recommend the price is. And this is the Printful price. So at this point, you're looking at what, a $20 increase for what they recommend the retail price at. And this is for Shopify, I should say. If you're on Etsy, it probably won't say retail price. So we may have to try that on an Etsy one. But the important thing is you can go through and you can set your price, right? So right now it's increased. It's a $20 profit, and you can increase this amount by, let's say you wanted to do another $5 or another $10, so you can do a $10 off coupon or something and still keep your profit, right? You could do that here. So we can say we can decrease it, or we can just change it to a specific price. Like this is a retail price of $30.90 now. So change to $12.95 profit. Let's say we want to change this to $25 profit. then we can see where it jumps up to $42.95, right? So this is, you just play with those and then you can say submit to store. And then it should be in our store. Now it may not be instant, but we're going to go and take a look. And it's probably going to be in, so we said it's rainbow. Whoops, and when you want to spell things correctly. And it's not pushed over yet, so that's okay. It just takes a little bit. I'll go ahead and pause it and I'll bring it back up in a little while when we can see when it's connected. It only took a couple more minutes, and then it showed up here, and it may have been there anyway, and I just wasn't looking in the right spot. But I refreshed it. I kind of went out of all products, then went back into all products, and it was in there in alphabetical order. So now you know you've got your, you can push it over to the products. Now, I don't have an active store, so I won't be able to see the active listing, but if I want to go into it, I can come in and I can still do some editing in here, right? So maybe I want to change this up, right? And maybe I want to add 4 kids or 4, I don't know, whatever age range, whatever you think that would work, if you think that would be work. And then you've got this, so you can see there's a size guide already in here. And to show videos, so learn about media and themes. So mine may not have media working in here. So I might need to change my theme, which by the way, my theme is outdated. So that would be something I want to look at if I wanted to do that. So then here we are, here are all the different products. And again, stocked because we have it so that it's synced. So you don't need to play with any of that. Now you might want to change like the featured image, right? To maybe something like this. If you want to say, hey, I want to change the featured image to this. You know what? I'm not sure. Well, anyway, you can do what you want. I want this featured image to be like this for now because I just want them to see that they're pant type style in here. In fact, you might want to put pants into the title. So we're going to save that. And a lot of times that will sync back over. Sometimes it won't. It just depends on which platform you're on, right? So but don't worry too much. The whole point of the syncing is that you have your inventory and your ability to fulfill synced. Now, one thing to note now that we've shown you kind of how to add a product here is that you can come in here. You can delete products and everything from here. Eventually, I think it'll pull in all my other products as well, and I will need to ignore them. You can see these are 7 synced. And then eventually I'll have to ignore the ones that are not Printful products, right? So that's something that, and then I saw this up here and thought that was interesting. And so let's go ahead and take a look at this. Now this one, the file size is wrong. Look, see how that's wrong? And so I wouldn't necessarily, they're recommending other products, but you can't really use the same file size. Because if you stretch it, guess what? The person that's wearing these standing next to the person wearing the other ones is going to be different dimensions. So even though you can do that, I don't recommend doing that. Also because now your DPI, your dots per inch, so how crisp it's going to be is going to be not as good when you stretch it, right? Because we put it at the minimum DPI as it was. So I don't recommend doing that. Instead, what I recommend doing is if you decide that, hey, you want to do some of these other products, which of course these are all over prints. We have files for all of these already if you've done your automation, right? We can go back in and we can do it again. So now let's look at a product real quick that you may not want to add it onto. And I did a smaller size on this just because I had that in mind. But let's go back to, I'm going to go back, actually I could put it right there. But we're going to come in here, we're going to say add a product. And now we're going to come in, well, let's find something smaller. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to show you that on this list, we have, well, that's an inside pocket, so that doesn't matter. But here's this stainless steel water bottle. So 8.52 inches, and actually it probably will work at 8.52 inches. We have some phone cases in here that are smaller. Let's see if we can find those. Oh, right here. Okay. So 2.56. So like the Samsung S8. So let's do that. So let's come in here and we're going to go to accessories, I believe. And Samsung cases, and we can come in here now, and there's multiple files for what you want to do. So they have select your models, but I'm not sure you can put all the files in there. So we're going to upload a file, and again we're going to go by, it was the S8 was the 2.56. So 2.56 by 6.12. So let's load that up. And you see how, let's go ahead and place it so you can see. You can get in here and you're like, you know what? I don't like, we made your image larger. If you want even better print, please upload a larger image. So they didn't even like the image as it was. So you can see this one's at 131 DPI. And I don't know why, other than because there's multiple files. So we may need to just do the larger file in there. But you can see I don't really like this, right? And so I'm going to decide I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to say back and I'm going to leave and I'm going to skip that one, right? So I'm going to be going through my list, and when I find one that I don't like, I just don't load it. If you're like, hey, I don't care, I just want to try it, then go for it. But if you're on something like Etsy and you're getting charged per listing, probably not worth it. If you're on Shopify and it doesn't matter how much stuff you list, probably something you can just do and get away with. So unfortunately, as of right now, there is no way to automate this particular part of loading it, but that's okay because you kind of need a manual touch anyway to review it. So that's it. Once you're done, you can make sure that, you know, everything's correct on your end, whether it's Etsy, whether it's Shopify, whether it's WooCommerce, whatever it is, you can make sure everything's publishing correctly. You can view it, and then you just start promoting, which is, you know, a whole nother section of our marketing, and everything is all together on that. So that's it for this one. If you have questions, please feel free to post them below. You can hop into the Facebook group, or you can come live on Thursdays and ask questions. And that's our next step for those of you who are doing brands. If you're doing marketplaces, we're still trying to figure out the files for those because they're kind of a nightmare. But marketplaces should be coming out hopefully in the next week or two. And then, so just keep working on your files, or keep working on your repeating designs in the meantime. All right. And that's it for now. Thanks.